Welcome back to Grim Advice with Gretta Myers. You've entered the grimoire with 2 M's. Let's turn the page together. Alright, hello my little gremlins. Still doing that thing. Yep, I'm gonna call you guys gremlins. Yep. Okay. This one is called The Queen Bee. And part of me is like, that's gonna be a great story. It's gonna be real nice and fun. But then we've had the other stories with misleading titles, so I don't know. It's also short, so let's find out together. It's gonna be an adventure. Okay, without further ado, The Queen Bee. 2 kings' sons once went out in search of adventures and fell into a wild, disorderly way of living, so that they never came home again. The youngest, who was called Simpleton, set out to seek his brothers, but when at length he found them, and they mocked him for thinking that he could get through the world with his simplicity, when they both could not make their way, and yet were so much cleverer. They all 3 traveled away together and came to an ant hill. The 2 eldest wanted to destroy it, to see the little ants creeping about in their terror and carrying their eggs away. But Simpleton said, "Leave the creatures in peace. I will not allow you to disturb them." Then they went onwards and came to a lake on which a great number of ducks were swimming. The 2 brothers wanted to catch a couple and roast them. But Simpleton would not permit it and said, "Leave the creatures in peace. I will not allow you to kill them." At length they came to a bee's nest, in which there was so much honey that it ran out of the trunk of the tree where it was. The 2 wanted to make a fire beneath the tree and suffocate the bees in order to take away the honey, but Simpleton again stopped them and said, "Leave the creatures in peace. I will not allow you to burn them." At length the 3 brothers arrived at a castle where stone horses were standing in the stables and no human being was to be seen, and they went through all the halls until quite at the end they came to a door in which were 3 locks. In the middle of the door, however, there was a little pane through which they could see into the room. There they saw a little gray man who was sitting at a table. They called him once, twice, but he did not hear. At last they called him for the 3rd time. When he got up, opened the locks, and came out. He said nothing, however, but conducted them to a handsomely spread table, and when they had eaten and drunk, he took each of them to a bedroom. Next morning, the little gray man came to the eldest, beckoned to him, conducted him to a stone table, on which were inscribed 3 tasks, and when performed, could deliver the castle from enchantment. The first was that in the forest beneath the moss lay the princess's pearls, 1,000 in number, which must be picked up, and if by sunset 1 single pearl was wanting, he who had looked for them would be turned into stone. The eldest went there and sought the whole day, but when it came to an end he had only found 100, and what was written on the stone table came to pass, and he was changed into stone. Next day the 2nd brother undertook the adventure. It did not, however, fare much better with him than the eldest. He did not find more than 200 pearls, and was changed to stone. At last the turn came to Simpleton also, who sought in the moss. It was, however, so hard to find the pearls, and he got on so slowly, that he seated himself on a stone and wept. And while he was thus sitting, the king of the ants, whose life he had once saved, came with 5,000 ants. And before long the little creatures had got all the pearls together and laid them in a heap. The 2nd task, however, was to fetch out of the lake the key of the king's daughter's bedchamber. When Simpleton came to the lake, the ducks which he had saved swam up to him, dived down, and brought the key out of the water. But the 3rd task was the most difficult. From amongst the 3 sleeping daughters of the king he had to choose the youngest and dearest. They, however, resembled each other exactly, and were only to be distinguished by their having eaten different sweetmeats before they fell asleep. The eldest a bit of sugar, the 2nd a little syrup, and the youngest a spoonful of honey. Then the queen of the bees, which Simpleton had protected from the fire, came and tasted the lips of all 3. At last she remained sitting on the mouth which had eaten honey, and thus the king's son recognized the right princess. Then the enchantment was at an end, and everything was released from sleep, and those who had been turned to stone received once more their natural forms. Simpleton married the youngest and sweetest princess, and after her father's death became king, and with his 2 brothers received the other 2 sisters. I don't think the brothers deserved to marry princesses, but you know. not sure. There's a thought forming, my goodness. But there is a thought before that, and that thought is, again, it's just what the brothers were trying to do was show that good conquers all. You do good things happen to you, even if there's a bunch of crap in the middle. Good things happen to you. Like your name being Simpleton! What? That's like naming a kid Idiot these days, or bunch of other, like, really not nice things, because simpleton was basically, you think dumb. So, I don't know what the modern equivalent would be, like, for it to hit home so much, but yeah. But he fared good in the end, because he did good to the creatures and stopped others from doing the creatures. So I guess it's not you have to do good. You have to kind of help other people do good, too, you know? Is there anything else I want to say? That's... just that... Yeah. The brothers weren't doing anything that was necessarily, like, straight up evil. Like, they were just animals, right? But even if you don't think it's just really mean, right? To somebody else it might be really mean. You know, you picking up what I'm throwing down. I don't know. It's true, though. Like, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. I need my glass of perspective, but anyways. Is there anything else I want to say? Other than, yeah, it's interesting how the Grimm brothers really liked the youngest child trope. Because this isn't the first time they've done this. They'll go off and be like, and the eldest one was an idiot, and if there's a middle brother, he was also an idiot. But the youngest guy, he was good potatoes right there. It wasn't just, yeah, even like in the 12 brothers, 7, whatever that one was called. Like, we didn't get a name for any of the rest of the brothers, but we knew the baby was called Benjamin because the mom cared the most about the, yeah. I don't know, it's just interesting considering neither of them was the oldest. Like, well, okay, the youngest in their family. They were both, like, older than, because they had siblings younger than them that they had to take care of, the Grimm brothers, that is. So did they, like, tell these stories to their younger siblings first? And that could explain why? Because they were trying to, like, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm an oldest child, so maybe I'm just a little bit salty that youngest children get so much crap in fairy tales. I don't know. That was a half-baked thought. Alright, my little gremlins. Thank you for joining us for another happily ever after, or not so happily ever after. That's up for you to decide. And what you decide is valid. Because you're valid. You are. Either way, this is the end for this episode, so tune in later and we can learn more and turn a new page together. Goodbye.